So, hi there, this is Vanessa Ho again, and today in this video, I got a really special guest for you guys. His name is Jos, and he's is a digital marketer who actually from Australia, and now he currently living in Da Nang, Vietnam. So he will help me to give you all the currently update what's going on there in Vietnam. Hi Joe, how are you doing today?
Hey Vanessa, hey Alex, how are you guys?
Good, Joe's. Yeah, it's good to see you again. So, yeah, for those of you just tuning in, I've known Joe's now going on what, 3 years at least, maybe longer.
No, it's definitely longer, maybe 5 or 6 years at this point.
Yeah, kind of time flies. But yes, we know each other for a while, so I was very pleasantly surprised to hear that you're currently, you're currently living in Da Nang, and so what we wanted to just kind of provide our viewers with the latest update of what's happening there, since you're currently living right now. In fact, this is filmed, live as of September 2020 right here. So let's kind of quickly hit the ground running here. So the focus of this particular session, we'll be doing a series of these with Joe's, and the purpose of this one is really what is really happening what is really happening with all the situation with COVID and everything. So just very quickly, Joe's, I know you were sharing with us, offline, so I'd love to share with the viewer. What are some precautions that the locals have done, like yourself right now, to help kind of help minimize the spread of COVID-19, that you're seeing, especially the city you're in right now?
So just to give everyone a bit of background information, what happened about a month back is Vietnam ended their 3-month streak without any COVID cases, and we entered lockdown in the city of Da Nang. So Da Nang was under full lockdown. Certain streets weren't able to actually leave their streets because they had certain cases on the street.
Mm-hmm.
As of last Saturday, they pretty much fully opened up things here again.
Mm-hmm.
Da Nang is still considered a higher risk city because it's where the breakout started.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of precautions, anyone that leaves Da Nang needs to go and self-quarantine in other cities before they can get out and about and go about their business. Or if you're in Da Nang, we're anywhere in Vietnam at the moment, I believe, is we're all wearing face masks just to make sure that we're not spreading the germs, and all the shops have temperature checks, all those fun things like that.
So is wearing a mask, is that mandatory right now?
Yeah, it's mandatory right now.
Okay, and we were reading, at least from some of the local news sources, that right now, I believe, I don't know that now, but near there, they're actually not imposing fines on people that walk around without masks. Is that correct?
They do, but it's been less strict since their lockdown ended.
Mm-hmm.
So you find there's rules, you find there's what actually happens. Sometimes there's things that locals do that expats may not do.
Got it. Okay. So for the expats who are living in Vietnam right now, are they expected to follow the same or different, lack of better word, protocols or precautions?
You're expected to follow the same protocols. You can probably get away with it without doing it, but out of respect to the locals and stuff, you want to be just making sure you are covering your face and making sure that everyone else around you is feeling comfortable.
Okay. And I think you mentioned something here I'd love to touch on, and is that you're saying that for are people, if they're coming into Da Nang from another city in Vietnam, do they have to quarantine for what, 7 or 14 days, or is that only for people coming from overseas?
14 days self-isolation at the moment. Hanoi, I'm still waiting for information on what the case is there, because if Hanoi opens up, I'll actually be going there to get my marriage finalized as well. But most other cities is a 14-day self-isolation.
Okay, so meaning that when you come to the city, you have to stay at your residence before actually going out and about. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
Very cool. Well, not cool, but thanks for the update.
It may change very quickly at this point, though.
Sure. I think right now, I think the term is being used. It's called the second phase, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a second wave of COVID.
Right. So I mean, you've been there now, I think, going on several months. So have you seen, like, has it have the local businesses, shops, for lack of a better word, because I know a lot of the local economy is based upon smaller shops. Are they back to what would be considered like more quote unquote normal, or is it still like every other store is closed? I mean, can you give ourselves and our viewers like Any sense of what that?
As of yesterday, most of the shops were open.
Mhm.
So from our perspective, it's pretty much back to normal.
Okay.
From the business owner's perspective, I think some of them won't be able to survive through this.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And I guess what are some things that the government is doing to that you've seen that's kind of maybe a little bit more specific to Vietnam to help minimize the spread of the COVID there?
Predominantly locking things down. Whenever they see cases, they lock the entire streets down. You aren't able to move from that area. So they do provide food and stuff, but it's quite intense lockdown, isolation, testing process here.
Okay, cool. And I know you have a mostly digital businesses, but overall, has COVID affected what you guys are doing at all?
So I also have a real estate business and visa services businesses here.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the changes to visa laws has slowed things down on that side, and on the real estate side, it's slowed things down because there's no tourists coming through, so there's less customers in that respect.
Sure. Okay. All right. But overall, I mean, it seems like is it in compared to say 3 or 6 months ago, do you feel like there's more local activity, for lack of a better word, or is it kind of like the same?
From the visa side, we're still busy because we have national coverage with that.
Mm-hmm.
From the real estate side, it's gotten slower because there's less expats actually living in Da Nang and Vietnam.
Sure. What about like the local shops? I mean, as you know, since you're there, you obviously have to interact with the for the local shop. I know you and your fiance like to eat out. So are there like as many restaurants open now as there were say 3 to 6 months ago, or is it fewer? Just give us a sense
I'd
of
say
that.
a little bit fewer because they're still getting their feet.
Mm-hmm.
We've only just reopened, given them the ability to reopen. So some, I think, may not reopen.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the ones that I used to go to have already opened their doors, at least doing delivery and takeaway.
Cool. Okay. So it seems, I guess people, the locals have had to make some adjustments, but overall, I mean, it's not like we know folks in the Philippines, and I know one fellow specifically, he's mentioned that he hasn't been able to leave his residence unless it's a medical emergency for like 6 to 7 months. I mean, that's that when we hear lockdown, that's what we're kind of our picture. But it seems that
Philippines changed in different cities. I think Davao was pretty intense, their lockdown. Parts of Thailand were intense and they loosened things up. So it changes city to city on what kind of restrictions they're leaving in all over Asia.
Sure. Yeah. So I know you have to run, Joe. So I guess before we wrap up, do you mind like just sharing with the with our viewers, like you mentioned a little bit about your two, I know you have multiple businesses, but I think the two that's probably most interesting our viewers it's the visa and maybe the real estate. I know you help people with the visa, but also even people that may want to open up a business, should they want to come and settle in Vietnam. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
So we operate two companies here. One's called Your Expat Source, where we help expats settle in, get their legality sorted, and help them with visa services. That's yourexpatsource.com. And the other business we operate here is Vietnam Property Group, where we help with buying, selling, and renting of property and land.
Okay. Yeah, because we've got some folks, from our audience, ask us about that. We're just going to glad to refer them to you. Some of them just want to come as a tourist, but some have already mentioned that they're at the point in their life where they actually like to settle down there. I know you've actually set some roots down there too, so we'll definitely check in on that. I guess as we wrap up, are there anything that you'd like to share with the viewers? I know there's a lot of anxiety and I guess a lot of uncertainty about visiting Vietnam in the next 3 to 6 months. I mean, as somebody who's living there on the feet there, is there anything you can share with us that somebody from the outside may not know?
At this stage, it is very much a day-to-day type thing. If you want to come here currently, you need a expert visa. But the Vietnamese people do seem to be wanting to open up tourism again because they need the income and the experts and all that stuff coming over from China, Korea, and other income sources. So they're wanting to, but they're also very cautionary as a people. They don't want to put their country at risk. So it's balancing out between those two motivations.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'll wrap up here because I know you got to run. But yeah, thanks for sharing this with us. Like I said, we want to at least provide our audience something that more than just like bits and pieces. It's always very, very valuable to have somebody there that's there locally. I think you've also connected us with a reporter who's there, and we're going to be probably featuring him on a couple upcoming shows as well. So we really appreciate that. I know you got to run. We'd love to catch up, but I also want to respect your time. So I really appreciate your time, Jos, for this and sharing your insights, and also just like I said, just firsthand experience of living there versus reading it from somebody somewhere else. So.
Oh, it's a wonderful place to live. Just like I said, if you're one of those couple people that are running digital business, like we have an amazing big place here for peanuts compared to what we'd pay in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like I've got the river 25 meters down the road there. So it's a great place to live.
Yeah, I think when I go over there, I'm gonna have to adjust, my sense of distance, because everything's gonna be in the metric system, and we're so, in the States, we're probably the only country that uses the imperial system, as they call it, the British, system. I think even the British now are using the metric system, so it's gonna be interesting to have to convert auto. When you did 25 meters, I'm like, well, what's that, 80 feet or something, but anyway, all that aside. But it's good to see you again, sir, and thanks for popping in here. And let me go ahead and wrap this up so you go to your appointment. And I'll look forward to doing this again. Vanessa, I look forward to doing this again with you in the near future. Okay.
Perfect.
Goodbye, sir. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.